Welcome to the Newslaundry and News Minute live show. This is a very important live telecast, so I hope you guys stay tuned with us for the full length of it. And those of you who've joined us early, please share this link with everyone and with your friends and your family, because it's a very important broadcast. It's a very unusual one, also. It's different from what we usually do. The topic for this live is an investigation series, a three-part investigative series that News Minute and News Laundry have carried together jointly. It released this week. It's made a lot of waves. In fact, the Congress party picked it up and done a press conference on it. A lot of media organizations have followed up on our investigation also. So we have editor-in-chiefs of both the organizations. We have reporters who have worked on the series from both the organizations to talk about our investigation. Briefly, to tell you guys, the three-part series concerns political donations. It concerns funding of political parties, primarily the party in power, which is the Bharatiya Janata Party. We have looked at what is behind the rise of BJP, which is where are they getting their money from when it comes to running their affairs. Elections are going to be there in the next 1 month, and we know that the chief feature of any election, apart from your candidates, apart from your promises, apart from everything else, is money. That is really what drives every electoral campaign. You've had the Supreme Court recently come down heavily and said that electoral bonds must go. There should be transparency. And our series looks at a very interesting pattern, which is that we have identified a number of corporate companies, uh, 30 to be precise in the first part, who have donated more than 300 crore to BJP. And these donations happen to coincide with action against these companies by central agencies. So either IT or ED or GST intelligence has initiated some or the other action against these companies. And after this action, you have had these companies donate to the BJP. Now, broadly, that is a pattern which is disturbing, that we have discovered and uncovered in this series. And I'm going to have our reporters and our editors talk about it, what this means, and elaborate a little more on what the story is. So I'm going to first go to Prateek, and then we have Cora also with us from the News Minute. I'm going to go to them because you guys have worked on these series. From News Laundry, it was Prateek and Basant who worked on it, and Dhanya from News Minute. It was Cora, Raga Malika. Can you hear me? Nandini. So these reporters worked on it, and of course, we also had our. I think you're trying to unmute yourself, Dhanya. Can she hear us? You seem to be.
No.
Oh, you can hear us. Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay.
It is
You're not.
Nandini Chandrasekhar, Cora Abraham, and Raga Malika, and Basant and Prateek. So 5 people.
5 people. And of course, we also had our desks who worked on the story.
Aban.
Aban from News Laundry. Yeah. Okay. So let's just go to Prateek first. And Prateek, just tell us briefly what the story that you did talks about. What is the pattern that you uncovered? And what was the most striking feature of political donations that came to the BJP?
सबसे I mean the most important thing in this story is the pattern. जो pattern है वही पूरी story है actually. मतलब and it's not about a particular year. तो जैसे कुछ companies हैं for example जो already donation दे रही हैं, ठीक है, लेकिन donation amount अगर कम है तो फिर रेड होती है और अगले साल में जो अगली donation होती है उसका amount जस्ट डबल हो जाता है, ट्रिपल हो जाता है. सेम ऐसी कंपनीज है जिन्होंने कभी डोनेशन दिया ही नहीं है, वो रेड होता है उन पे, नेक्स्ट ईयर वो पे करना शुरू कर देते हैं. कुछ ऐसी कंपनीज हैं जो पे करते हुए आ रही हैं लेकिन वो स्किप करती हैं डोनेशन देना, तो फिर वापस उन पे रेड होती है. तो ये पैटर्न बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट ये इस पूरी स्टोरी में, और इसीलिए और मतलब इसमें ये पूरी स्टोरी जैसे पढ़ते हैं तो बहुत सारी चीजें मतलब बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग फैक्ट्स हैं. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल एक जो चीज मेरे को बहुत अजीब लगी कि एक कंपनी है बॉम्बे की, मतलब उसको स्टार्ट किया था एक बहुत फेमस सोशल रिफॉर्मर ने. जो फ्रीडम फाइटर थे और जो मतलब बॉम्बे में जो काली पीली जो टर्म टैक्सी के लिए यूज होता है,
Hmm.
तो वो उन्होंने कॉइन किया था। ठीक है, लाल लाजपत राय वगैरह के साथ काम किया उन्होंने, कंपनी स्टार्ट की, बहुत बड़ी कंपनी है उनकी। जो उसकी कंपनी के चेयरमैन है वो अभी इंडिया की सेकंड रिचेस्ट वुमन है। तो उस कंपनी पे रेड होती है और विद इन अ मंथ 9 करोड़ रुपए उनको देना पड़ा, मतलब उन्होंने डोनेट किया।
Donate
उसके
किया.
बाद फिर हाँ कुछ नहीं हुआ उसके बाद, उसके बाद एज इट इज।
One more
तो ये
interesting company that you talk about is Som Distilleries,
सोम
which
डिस्टिलरी ना।
there's
तो
action against the owners. They are
यस
accused
यस
of embezzlement of funds to the tune of 8 crore. They go
या
to jail and then they get bail. And within 15 days of their bail, they come out
10
and
days,
they but
एग्जैक्ट
within 10 days.
10 days, विद इन 10 days दे डोनेटेड बीजेपी।
Cora, you have focused, and you and your team at the News Minute has focused mostly on companies in southern India.
That's
So
right.
tell us about what you guys found. What were the peculiar patterns that you guys uncovered specifically with southern India?
Right. So, firstly, let me start by saying that everything that we have found out are details that is already available in the public domain. And so, first, what we did was we went to the Election Commission website, which has a list of all the companies that have made donations to the BJP. So, from 2019, 2018 onwards, we looked at all the companies from South India which have donated an amount of more than rupees 1 crore to the Bharat Janata Party. So in each year, so roughly what we have found out is that from South India, at least 40% of the total companies are either owned by someone from the BJP, like for example Rajiv Chandrasekhar, or have some sort of relation with the Bharat Janata Party. 40%, and the rest 60%, we went what we when we understood, we started finding a pattern, like what Pratik was saying, is that either they made huge amounts to the BJP after they were raided, the year after they were raided, or for example, either if there is a leader who has if there is a leader from the Bharat Janata Party who have resigned and gone to another party. For example, in the case of Vaishaka Industries, Vishaka Industries is owned by a Congress leader in Telangana. So once he left the BJP, within just a span of 1 month, his company was raided. Vaishaka Industries was the company that it was raided. So these are all information that is there in the public domain. And the other thing that we found out was that in many of the cases, we are not even saying that this is because of it's because that these companies they donated the money that the rates have stopped. We don't know about it yet, but this is something that we have found out, and that is how most of these results came out.
Hmm. So I wanted to go to Dhanya and the editors now, just to like give our audience a little overview, and we'll come back to the reporters and talk a little more deeply on the story. But Dhanya, of course, the story has been picked up by Congress and opposition parties, and they're making a big deal about it. They want investigation into it. They've used words that we have not used in our report. But for our audience, can you tell us the significance of what you have uncovered with the pattern of political donation, and also just for our audience to understand why are we focusing on money being given to the BJP, political donations to the BJP?
Okay, so for a quick overview, there are three ways in which political parties in India get money. One is through donations, where corporate companies, private individuals can give money. Second is through electoral bonds, a completely opaque system which the Supreme Court has now held deemed as illegal, as unconstitutional rather. And the third is through electoral trusts. So in this story, in this series, we've actually looked at both electoral trust and electoral donations. It's only bonds that we have not touched because we don't have the information yet. Now, what did we find as far as donations go? The BJP has made almost 4,800 crores from 2014 to 2023 in donations. They have made around 6,500 crores from 2017 to 21 in electoral bonds, and also a similar amount of money through trusts. So it's a huge amount which the BJP has got, and it is not comparable with the other national party, which is the Congress in this case. Now, why did we go up? Why did we actually start this series? It's because of a story which had come, I think, in January 2022, sorry, in December 2022, about a hospital in Telangana, which actually had got raided. And immediately after the raids, they donated 10 crores to BJP.
Hmm.
So I thought this cannot be a one-off case. It cannot be an aberration. There has to be a pattern, which is when we thought that maybe we should start looking at companies. So now, just to tell our viewers, it's not very simple. Now, these lists are put on the Election Commission website, but you're talking about 2,000 to 3,000 donors every year for the BJP, at least
Hmm.
2,000. So the list is very exhaustive. It has people from 5 rupees to 20 crores to 100 crores, everything is there. So you have to patiently go through. Then we thought, how to do this? So we then decided we will look at people who have given above 1 crore. Now that can be multiple tranches. Sometimes some people give us 50 lakhs, another 50 lakhs. Sometimes they give through subsidiary companies. There is a company called Salar Puria in Bengaluru, which gave money through different subsidiaries. So we looked at all the companies which were giving above 1 crore. That's the first list we made. In that, we first started checking off the BJP directly owned by BJP leaders. Then we looked at the others. Why is it important, if you ask me, Manisha? Elections are supposed to be free and fair. So first, what we do understand now is that the BJP has made the playing field not equal by bringing amendments to the Finance Act in 2017, where they did two things. One is they removed the cap of 7.5%. Before, companies could only donate 7.5% of their profit to political parties. BJP removed that cap by an amendment to the Finance Act. And second, there was a rule that foreign companies could not donate to Indian political parties. That
Hmm.
rule was taken off, and it was said that if you are a foreign company with an Indian subsidiary, you could get money. So there are two things, right? Like Amit Shah says, chronology samjhiye, where you're removing two rules and you're enabling more money to come in, and you become the beneficiary of that money also. Now, when we talk about the rates, we are not talking about cause and effect here at all. We are not saying what is the reason why they gave the money and what is the effect of giving money. That is not something that we have tracked. Maybe we can do it. What we are telling now is that there is a clear pattern that those companies who have never given money from 2014 onwards to BJP, we have looked for all these companies, we have checked their donations from 2014. They never gave even once before 2014 till they are raided. So what is
Hmm.
the reason these companies are giving? They expect some sort of quid pro quo. Whether it's they got it or not, we do not know. But there is a thought process, or somebody asked them to give. These are all things which should come out through an investigation.
Hmm. Raman sir, please step in and tell us significance. What you think the significance of such a pattern is, that like we are seeing that companies who have not donated, there's initiation by IT or ED, and then you have them donating. Sometimes you have companies who have donated, and then there's action by the central agencies, and then they've donated like many folds over. So significance of this pattern, and yeah, that.
Yeah, in fact, as everybody said, that the entire information was available in public domain. You know, you may find it easier when you say this, but it becomes really difficult, when you're making 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. It's very, I mean, at times it becomes 1 plus 1 is equal to 3. So it should not become 3. So that's the attention that you need to pay. For this, you need meticulous way of arranging data, which our reporters are collective effort did, and then weave a narrative around it. So in that narrative we came out with this pattern. So you went through, this is first of all an ongoing investigation. So we have gone through many companies, and we sifted out these 30 where we found a pattern. And we are also doing investigations further, and we are trying to find further angles to the story. uh, in this 30, we come out with a very clear cut pattern and the narrative that these companies were surveyed or raided before they donated to uh, the ruling party. Now we have got all this list, from the election commission. This is the donation which has been made to the trust. This is the old system of making political donations. Now the new system since 2018 is giving money through the bonds.
Hmm.
And in the past 5, and that is not that is secret. Nobody knows who is paying, who is giving that money, and which companies they are. They in and that is the most significant part of it. So after the Supreme Court ruling, I think we State Bank of India has been instructed to give the list of people who had donated, the companies which have donated by 13th of March, if I'm not wrong. And why it is significant? Because you don't know who has given 16,510 crore rupees through the bonds to these political parties, majority of which has gone to BJP in the past 5 years. Okay. Now the significance of this is that once the list of this 16,510 crore, whoever had donated, will come, and then I think it opens to further investigation if there is such a pattern exists. So that is something that we need to find as a media house, but we definitely need to know, and it's going to be extremely difficult. Why? Because 94% of this 16,000 odd crore rupees, have come via 1 crore, of donation. I mean, each donation made is of 1 crore rupees.
Hmm.
So it's going to be extremely difficult to find out who these individuals are, who these companies are. But definitely, I mean, that is going to be a challenge. But 16,000 crore, imagine, we have just found a pattern for 330 crores so far. So for whether we will be able to find pattern to this 16,000 crore, we don't know.
So I want to just ask the two reporters here for the benefit of our audience. So now you guys, through your stories, have established a pattern that company gets raided, surveyed, action, and then company donates to BJP. We are not saying, like Dhanya said, we are not saying there's cause effect. We are just saying there's a pattern. Now, did you, in your investigation, also find out with some cases at least what happened to these cases? Did they slow down, or was there any company where you kind of were able to see that okay, there was some sort of a progress in the way the case went?
I think
And
ये micro
this
labs.
would, this would be challenging also because most of these agencies don't talk. I mean, we have reached out to all of them, but none of them kind of responded to our questions.
आई मीन एजेंसीज ने तो कोई रिप्लाई नहीं किया, बट ये जैसे एक दो केसेस हैं, जैसे माइक्रो लैब्स का है आई थिंक, तो वो मतलब पहले डोनेट करते थे, आई थिंक एक बार 9 करोड़ किया, उसके बाद 3 करोड़ किया, उसके बाद 2 साल उन्होंने नहीं किया तो रेड होती है, फिर वापस उन पे आई थिंक वो डोलो जो टैबलेट है उसका 400 करोड़ का रेवेन्यू उन्होंने कमाया था कोविड के दौरान 2 साल में, तो उसमें फिर उस वक्त उन्होंने पे नहीं किया था, ठीक है, तो रेड होती है, वापस 2 करोड़ पे करते हैं, उसके बाद आई थिंक वो जो केस है वो खत्म हो गया। उन पे ये एक्यूजेशन लगे थे कि टैक्स एवेजन और इसका कि डॉक्टर्स को उन्होंने मतलब फ्रीबीज दिए हैं मेडिसिन प्रिस्क्राइब करने के लिए, तो ये एक दो ऐसे केसेस हैं जहाँ पे दिखता है, और एक और आई थिंक एक और केस है ऐसा।
Were you able
So in
to?
most,
Uh,
I'll just intervene. In most of the cases, we don't know
Huh.
what happened to these cases because we tried to find through the companies, they never replied, and we tried very hard. We sent questionnaires, at least 4 or 5 times, and we personally called them up several times over, and they never replied to this. So we don't know in most of the cases.
और जो ट्रिब्यूनल्स के
Manisha,
पेपर है वो भी चेक किए थे हम लोगों ने बहुत,
Hmm.
तो उसमें भी एक मतलब फाइनल उससे कंक्लूजन तक कहीं मतलब उसका नहीं पता चला स्टेटस क्या है फाइनल।
Cora, you were saying?
yeah, so there was another observation, not particularly that the cases have gone down, but but what I found out was that, especially in the case of pharmaceuticals, the year after they have donated, we have also found that some of the government has given, for example, in the case of Gansham Pharmaceuticals, it's a company in Assam, which was related to the chief minister Himanta Biswa. So what we have found out was that they have been handed over, especially during the COVID time. They have been handed over the deal for massive pharmaceutical equipments and stuff. So this is
Mm.
something that we have noticed in many other companies as well, where they have gotten government contracts post their donations. So this is, and like everybody also is saying, we have also sent emails to all the companies that we have marked in this, but no response have been, not yet.
I think
So,
Cora makes a
Manisha,
very important point. Just one point I want to make, and then Dhanya can come in. Of this company that gets benefits, and I think this is one very important point that everyone needs to understand why political funding needs to be more transparent. Because there's nothing wrong with donating to a party, but it's not always when a corporate donates. It's not just always love for the party or ideology. It's often for something in return. So as public, we need to know who's putting in money where and what are they getting in return. So there's transparency.
no, I
Dhanya.
think it's not often, it's always because they want to keep the government or party in humor. For example, ITC, that's a company which gives crores every year to whoever is in power. They've been doing this for many years. There are lots of companies like that. I did speak to one of the companies which gave money to the BJP after they got raided. And they said that we have been giving to, in fact, we have carried that in the story. In fact, the person said that, but we gave to other parties also. We were not under any pressure to give. We did go and check. They had not donated to any other party during the same time, at least through donations. Now, just taking off from Cora's point, this is also important. This is also why it is important that we know about electoral bonds. So what we have dealt here is only with electoral donations and with trusts. The story that we put out today is about the prudent electoral trust mainly. This is a trust which has been giving almost 85 to 90% of its money to the BJP every single year. And big companies like Megha Engineering have been putting money in this trust. And we have there seems to be no formula, again, an opaque trust. But the big question really is about electoral bonds, like what Raman sir and Kora was saying, that it's not just the BJP. When it comes to electoral bonds, the TRS or the BRS in Telangana, the BJD in Odisha, the All India Trinamool Congress, the Congress Party, and the DMK have got substantial amounts, anything between 1,200 to I think DMK got 661. So we don't know who gave this money, right? Why did these companies give this money at a particular time to any party, which is a state party or a national party? So only when we get that list, what we're asking here is for transparency. But another problem with transparency is donations we know, but now when we look at it, we see a pattern, right?
Hmm.
And this is precisely the reason that Supreme Court has, given a decision against the electoral bonds. So they want this to be transparent. They said this can cause, quid pro quo between the corporate groups and the political parties. So this is precisely the reason, the transparency.
Can you just, for the benefit of our audience, explain how electoral trust works? How does it function? Donations.
Electoral trust for a concept which started in the 1990s. So at that time, when corporate companies were giving money to political parties, they often faced accusations that you're being partial. So Ratan Tata set up the first electoral trust, the Tata Electoral Trust. So basically, all corporate companies would put their money in the trust. The trust had some sort of formula wherein a party which pools the most votes or won the most seats will get more money, and the other parties will get lesser amount. That's a formula. There are papers on this. There are many research papers on this. So there was a formula which these people followed. But in the last few years, there's only one trust which has been getting more than 200 crores every year. This is a prudent electoral trust. It's run by the Bharati Group. And many big companies, in this story that we have written, there is this company called Future Gaming. Future Gaming is owned by Santiago Martin. He's known as a lottery king in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. He has given 100 crores to Prudent Electoral Trust, not one or two, 100 crores a year after he was raided. Now, we can't say how much Prudent gave to BJP, but Prudent gives 90 to 95% of its fund to BJP that year, which means we can assume that a large chunk of what Future Gaming gave went to the BJP. So Prudent, we wrote to them, we visited their office. I'm not sure if Pratik went, but somebody from Newslaundry
Shiv
did go to their
Narayan.
office.
Yeah. Shiv in there.
And they said that we don't talk to people. We emailed them, we did everything. We asked people in Delhi. Nobody knows much about this trust, but through that also, imagine the irony. Ratan Tata starts the system of trust in the 1990s. It is the UPA which makes it a law, and they make an electoral trust rule or whatever. And then the BJP gains the most from this also.
So we're going to take some
But
questions. Raman sir, you wanted to come in, or Pratik, you wanted to come in? Did someone want to come in? Or Hora? No. Okay, no one wanted to come in. Okay, so I'm just going to take questions now.
एक मिनट मैं बस ये प्रूडेंट का बोलना चाहता हूँ. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल प्रूडेंट का हम लोग जो स्टोरी में हम लोग 2014 से लिखा है, तो इनिशियली आई थिंक उनको 84 करोड़ आया था, इसमें से 44 करोड़ बीजेपी को गया. उसके बाद जब वो अमाउंट बढ़ते बढ़ते जब वो मतलब इतना अमाउंट होता है, जैसे 250 करोड़ आ रहे हैं तो ऑलमोस्ट 205 करोड़ बीजेपी को जा रहा है, 300 आ रहे हैं तो ऑलमोस्ट 350 आ रहे हैं तो 290 300 बीजेपी को जा रहा है. तो ये रेशो है मतलब
And are we still following that formula? Obviously not. There's no, now the formula is out of the window. Okay. Wow.
So we asked around, but who will tell us? And clearly we cannot see any formula. And for example, it's not just the BJP. When the Telangana elections were happening last year, at this MEI, a lot of Hyderabad companies went and put money in Prudent Trust. And I think the BRS also got a large amount, around 80 to 90 crores. So it's not...
75.
Yeah, if you're a company and you are wanting to give to one particular party, but this is something which I did not understand, Manisha. Like when you're doing the story, I kept asking Raga, what is the incentive of this company to put like 100 crores in this trust? And then everybody anyway knows who it is going to. So can't they give it by donation or bond? And we asked a lot of people who have been researching on bonds and on trust. And they all told us it's just about open devotion, just to show that I have given this much money. And it's all going to this particular party, whether it's the BRS or the BJP. Because I really couldn't understand, if I'm a company, I want to give 100 crores to BJP, why am I choosing a trust? I can as well as give by donation or bond. And the tax benefit is the same.
Okay, we're going to take some questions. Indu has asked, if the info was available in the public domain already, how does the SC ruling make the finding more transparent? No, I think what we meant was the information that we have based our investigation on is on publicly available records. So like Dhanya said, we haven't gone into electoral bonds, but we've gone into corporate donations and electoral trusts, which are out there for everyone to look at. So election
for electoral trust, our investigation is based on the list submitted by Bharatiya Janata Party to the Election Commission. Yeah. Okay, we took out that list, and BJP has very clearly mentioned that these are the people who have donated us money. So we just took that list of the companies and we investigated further. It was very simple. It was available in the public domain. Everybody could see it. But yes, bonds, nobody can so far. Maybe on 13th March, we will know who all have donated.
Niharika has said, do you expect BJP to react to your findings and articles? Yes, we expect them to congratulate us, tag us and say good work.
Actually, by mistake, the BJP in Kerala yesterday put up a song on their playlist that defeat the corrupt union government. They played an old 2013 song. So like that by mistake, maybe they will tweet congratulations.
Okay. Avi Garrett is saying, I find it ironic that this dispensation blocked funding from several NGOs on the rationale that they weren't transparent or were spending it on what they deemed anti-national activities. Yeah, I mean, this government wants transparency and accountability from NGOs or from the media if it gets foreign, funding and stuff like that. So I think it's only fair that they also hold themselves up to that standard. Shobna asks a question. I think all of you can take it one by one. Is there an incentive for the companies to come out and tell the truth about possible extortion? We are not using this word, you are. Can such an incentive be crafted? Can the companies come out and no? Dhanya can...
Legally, there is no incentive. In fact, they will be persecuted if they reveal, like we wrote to all these 30 companies. So even if they have spoken anonymously, I will personally not go for, we won't print it, but they will never tell on record. If they tell, they will be persecuted. They are already subjected to prosecution in a court of law, by through these IT surveys and GST intelligence raids. So they are already subjected to prosecution. But if they reveal, if they tell the truth, they will be persecuted.
What is the most now? I have a question for the reporters and editors. Can also what was the most difficult aspect of doing this investigation? It took us 2 months, 2 to 3 months, I
Three
think.
months. 3 months.
2 months. It
Almost
was
three.
Danya is the one who spotted the pattern. Then we collected all the companies. We made the entire list, and then we then reporters. I mean, there are 4 reporters who worked on this. 2 months it took.
I'll tell you what the real difficulty is. We have like really small teams in both Newslaundry and the News Minute. So for them to
Yes.
sit and dedicatedly look at this list itself is very difficult. So if we had more reporters, this is a story people can finish in 2 weeks. But the point is, Pratik has to sometimes go report on something happening in some other place. He has to go to for election reporting. So Cora has other work.
So the thing is, sometimes on days you just keep going, and when you feel like okay, you're not finding anything solid on certain days. It's not like every time every company that you come across has donated or has gone through raids. So there are days when you feel like okay, this is reaching a dead end and this is a pointless exercise. But then the days that you find at least one company where that has made a donation, has got through a raid, you feel like, but that is also part of why we do what we do, right? Uh,
And in an
मैंने
investigation like this, as I said, I mean, we need to ensure that 1 plus 1 should not become 3. So for that, you need to pay so much attention. You need to cross-check the facts. The fresh
yeah,
eye should see the article again. If I say I am investigating, I may commit mistakes. Somebody else should check it.
right.
So it's a team effort. So that is why it takes some time. And of course, Pratik and others were also doing their weekly stories beside it. So
Yeah,
that is.
I think everyone should know
इसमें
that.
एक्चुअली
Go
ये
ahead.
मतलब ये आई मीन फॉर आई थिंक फॉर एवरीवन ये जो कंट्रीब्यूशन रिपोर्ट थी ना बीजेपी की, तो दो फाइनेंशियल ईयर की रिपोर्ट्स ऐसी थी 2019 20 2021। तो उसमें ना कंट्रोल और वो जो फाइंड का ऑप्शन होता है ना, वो नहीं होता है। और मतलब ऐसे
That was
500
the
600
main
कंपनी है
problem. Yeah.
I
और
wanted to
उसमें
say that.
ढूंढना, मतलब
Huh.
उसमें आंखें ऐसा मतलब वो हो जाती है ना, आई मीन तो
Actually, that is
वो
what
एक
delayed
बहुत
us.
उसमें
This
बहुत
election
ये
commission is so careful. They have put up this document where you cannot do control F. We tried. I mean, people who are in tech, we did try putting in different kinds of Google Docs, but bloody control F will not work. So every day you go back to the same list and they're scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. So me
स्क्रोलिंग
and used to sit opposite each other and read out company names.
And you have to
Right.
make
वो
your own
एक
Excel.
बहुत
So there's this Google pinpoint that you can put, but in pinpoint also you cannot like zoom in and see only you can find out where the companies are. So if the company is list number 145 on the Google pinpoints, you have to go to the real Google sheet from the election commission website and then go to 145. So every time you had to recheck, you had to like keep all these tabs open to see 2021 was it there, 2020 was it there, and then you had to check whether the same company has donated to other political parties. So then you have to open the particular. So there was like a lot of tabs open, a lot of numbers, a lot of news websites that you have to like keep cross checking when the rates happened, when the donations were made, and where they made to other political parties in other that also in the other years. So that was a challenge, a little time consuming as well.
टाइम कंज्यूमिंग है वो।
And
Yeah,
also, I think when you do such a story, there's really no scope for a mistake. So there, reporters,
right.
editors, everyone's
You
under
know,
a lot of pressure to make sure that there's no mistake, there's nothing wrong, not one word is. And we'd
तो
ask
मैं
Pratik
स्पेशली
also
ना
that you should
मैं
do it.
आबान आबान का नाम बोलना चाहूंगा यहाँ पे।
Hmm.
तो आबान ने मतलब बहुत उसने मतलब अगर जरा भी गुंजाइश होती थी, अगर इतनी सी भी गलती हो सकती है, तो वो मतलब वेरीफाई करेगा, बात बताता था कि भाई यहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है, यू शुड चेक इट। तो वो एक बहुत मतलब दोनों उसने बहुत इसमें काम किया है फॉर दिस
He was
स्टोरी।
very nervous also till the very last.
I think Karthik is asking an important question.
Who? Karthik. Karthik
Yeah.
has asked, what is the ratio of the total companies that donated versus the ones that might be a probable case of quid pro quo?
Okay, I'll just quickly answer. In North India, East India, West India, we cannot say this because there is no it's not humanly possible for Pratik or anyone to go through the thousands of entries from like Gujarat, Maharashtra. It will take an army of reporters to do that. This is an ongoing investigation. We've only given the first pattern, right? So we are continuously looking at these lists. But as of now, we cannot say that. But South India, lesser number of companies have given to the BJP. Therefore, we could put all the South Indian companies which have given above 1 crore. Remember, Karthik, we're only looking at companies which have given above 1 crore. In South India, it is humanly possible for two reporters to sit and do this. But in the other parts of India, it's an
No.
ongoing investigation. We will know. And in South India, like I explained, 40% of companies were belonging to the BJP or somebody connected to it. I think around 10 to 12% of people, or at least 10 to 20% of companies were anyway giving. We couldn't find any EDs, CBI, IT. Maybe we could not find because it is not in the public domain, but there are investigations against them. The rest 40% is very clear. They had a raid against them and then they would donate.
Madhu Chukral, can this report be used in the court of law if someone wants to bring in more transparency in election funding, or only election commission has the power in these matters? Well, you can always, yeah, I mean, PILs is one way, but that's not our work. That's up to others who want to
Yeah.
take it up.
Yeah.
So one thing, guys, like I said, this is a News Minute, Newslaundry investigation. Dhanya has already explained to you how we did this. Raman has told you how we did this under immense pressure, dedicating very few resources that we had. None of our reporters have the luxury to just, like in Boston Globe or all these fancy movies you see, like in Spotlight, they're working for one year on one story. These are big newsrooms with big resources who can afford to do it. We can't. Our reporters often are working on multiple stories because there's also our daily bread stories that we need to put up on the website to be seen to be alive. So they're doing that. They're carrying out multiple investigations. If you find value in such work that no one in the mainstream media is doing, please do consider subscribing to News Laundry and News Minute. You can also take a joint subscription where you get, with one pathar, you get two nishanas. Basically, you get perks from both our organizations. You can get access to paywall content from both our organizations, and you can support more investigations like this. We are going to be collaborating on many such investigations in the future. And the only thing that can power us and help us do the kind of work we do is your support and your subscription. So please do subscribe to News Laundry, News Minute, either separately or take the joint subscription. So I'll take just two more questions and then maybe we can take final comments from everyone. Maybe what's to come, because like Ramansa said, this is an ongoing investigation, so we can talk a little bit about what we're going to be looking at after this. Shubham has said, were there individuals also? Did you find some of my, wow, Shubham is really not a nice family member. He's saying some of my relatives used electoral bond to evade taxes.
You should send them the subscription link and of the, what is it? Ek Pattar Do Nishana subscription link. You should send them, Shubham, right now. There were a lot of individuals gave money, but we have only look at firms now.
We didn't look into the patterns.
मतलब
Most of the
while
individuals give money. Let
while
Pratik.
checking the list ना पेमा खांडू अरुणाचल सीएम
Hmm.
पेमा खांडू का नाम बहुत बार देखा मैंने. देन देवेंद्र फडणवीस और मतलब बीजेपी के महाराष्ट्र के कुछ
Rajesh
लोग,
Chandrasekhar.
हाँ राजेश चंद्रशेखर, ये बहुत लोगों ने दिया है.
Individual payments are mainly by BJP leaders only, or people who have some connection. But of course, we can go through that also again.
The next question again is by Nilesh. Says, isn't the whole electoral bond thing too technical for common people to understand? How does it impact a common man? Is there a simplified way to explain this?
Yeah.
I mean,
Why should it matter to the common
no,
man?
no, isn't the whole electoral bond thing too technical for common people? It is technical at this point of time. Because why it is technical? Because you just don't know who is giving this money, who is buying this bond. Why you should know? Because as a public, you have a right to know that how these political parties whom we vote, how are they funded? How do they fight their elections? So whatever fund that goes to them, every penny is attached with a string. One should know that. So every penny that goes to them should be accountable to us, the public, the voters. So that is why it is important. So it is not too, it will not be too technical once the SBI comes out with the list of people or the companies who have donated. It will be a complex job to find the real face behind these bonds. But yes, but once you have at least some database to work on, maybe that will also come up.
And I think simply, quite simply, like what Raman said, the important thing is to understand nothing comes for free. Everything has strings attached. So
Hmm.
when you're giving money to the tune of, like, crores of rupees, it is usually not out of love. Like we said, it is mostly because you
Yeah.
want something in return. And you need to know that as a voter. Uh, there are some comments from the TNM channel also. I'll just quickly read them out and then we can take final comments and wrap up. So you have somebody from TNM channel who has said that, Hirak Jyoti Chakrabarti, who said that the recent addition to CPR, a list of NGOs whose foreign funding has been suspended. Can you please investigate on possible impact? So maybe looking at what has been the impact of NGOs that have come under constraint. I know that, I mean, we've done a lot of reporting on CPR and how it's really impacted their research. They've had to lay off people, they've had to cut staff, it's really impacted some key work that they do. Another person, KK from TNM channel, says, how much money these parties have got in black in proportion to electoral bonds they had received? We don't know that. I mean, that's not something we can
We
know.
have no idea. All that we know, that is also the information has come through RTI. Is one a retired army personnel, Mr. Batra, who has filed most of these RTIs, and according to his information, that as on say February 2024, 16,510 crore money have come through the bonds.
I think his question is how much money have they got in black also? Which is if you are assuming the donation trust and bonds are white money, other than that, black money, that's also there. KK, I
Ah,
mean, there's a lot of black money also out there, which nobody knows how much it is.
nobody knows.
But the irony is that the BJP has introduced such amendments which make it easier for people to put their black money as white
Black
also.
money.
And I think a lot of election funding campaigning is black money, no?
Yeah.
Would that
No,
be not?
any election you cover, like the Telangana elections, there's so much of money being spent. There is no way that elections in India are all about money. Simple. Somebody's asked, is it possible to contribute to such investigations as interns? In fact, the investigation we put out today, one of the interns helped us with collating everything. Her name is Megha. She's credited on the story on electoral trust. So yes, if you're an intern, you become a part of the story.
Great. So we're just going to wrap up, and maybe Raman and Dhanya can both tell us what can we look forward to with this investigation. Are more stories coming out
Danya.
My
without
pet
giving much?
my pet peeve has always been that Indian journalists, all of us, have failed at really exposing money in the Indian political system. I still don't know what is the best way to do it. In the sense, when I see money flowing during an election campaign or any other time, I really feel like where is it coming from? Who is giving it? How is it getting distributed? Many questions we have not answered. We have, in fact, we are going to focus on different themes this election, Newslaundry and the News Minute. One of the themes is called ballot bucks. We already started a small fundraising for that because we need our reporters to travel. But in this series, we will look at all parties, how they spend their money, what is it that they're spending on, how elections are about big money and small money. So yes, what a lot of stories will come. Do look at this campaign called Ballot Bucks. It's on the News Laundry and the News Minute website, and you can contribute to any of those campaigns too.
Raman
Yeah,
sir.
as Dhania said, money is going to be our focus in the coming 2024 election, and it is going to be one of the themes. We will be chasing it. We will keep the heat on. As I said, this is an ongoing investigation. You will find many more stories along these lines. With the and They will be. We will look into all kinds of angles, and we'll try to bring them to you as and when we confirm our stories. I mean, of course, I mean everything, every fact needs to be checked. Time consuming thing, but we will keep the heat on.
Dhanya, you have someone applying for a job from your channel. The imperfect student says he or she is currently work with a news conglomerate as an assistant producer. Hate working for that conglomerate. The environment is very toxic. So you can send your CV to, what's the email address
Dania
that,
at thenewsminute.com.
yeah. Great. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Please check out this investigation series on Newslaundry and Newsminute. We have put it out in Hindi also, so you can read it in Hindi if you prefer that. We're going to be putting out a series of videos next week in Hindi, hopefully one in Tamil also, in English, detailing what this story is about so it reaches more people. So please stay tuned for that, and please share these stories with your friends and family. Please make it go viral on WhatsApp circles. This is the kind of stuff that needs to go viral on WhatsApp. So please check it out and read and support independent media. Like I said, become a joint subscriber. You can be part of News Minute and News Laundry family by just subscribing to our joint subscription, which will give you perks like paywall content, events, access to events, and a lot more. But most importantly, supporting our work and the kind of investigations we've been able to do.
Thank you.